there's good reason to believe there may be a gold-tungsten skarn upstream from that in that part of the Smart Creek project that I think is a very high potential target.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by independent consulting geologist, Dr. Peter Megaw. Peter, very good to speak with you. You've recently come back from the Philipsburg area in Montana, where Domestic Metals Smart Creek project is located. What makes this part of Montana such a fertile region for copper and precious metals?
Oh, I mean, that's not, and yes, I was just at the project and had a wonderful time looking at the rocks and looking at some of the regional aspects of what's going on up there. Why some particular region is exceptionally endowed with copper, gold, lead, zinc, silver, etc., is hard to say. It's a very academic question. The fact is that this area is very well endowed. It includes Butte, which is one of the world's largest copper deposits, plus a number of very high grade silver, lead, zinc, gold, copper deposits. So what we look for is clusters of deposits, and there is clearly a major cluster in this area where Smart Creek and a number of these other districts reside.
I mean, looking at the geology around Philipsburg, what are the key features that have made the area such a prolific mining district?
Well, the fundamental is there's some kind of source. There's intrusive activity that brought in these metals. It deposited them in cracks in the rocks, which was what we call veins, or it reacted with the carbonate wall rocks, which are what we call skarns or carbonate replacement deposits. All of those ingredients are present in that area. So you have a combination of the right process and the right host rocks, which are properly structurally prepared.
You mentioned Butte, Peter, and of course the historic Butte mine was once the largest copper producer in the United States. What does its geology tell us about the wider mining mineral potential of the region?
Well, Butte is a classic porphyry copper system. That's geospeak for a very important intrusive related type of copper deposit, which is actually where most of the world's copper comes from. Porphyry coppers occur in large regional clusters. Butte happens to be a monster, but it has at least two major porphyry centers within the district itself. Plus, there's a number of other identified porphyries of roughly the same age in that neighborhood. So once you find elephant country, you look around for more elephants.
You mentioned porphyries and skarns and carbonates. I mean, how do porphyry, skarn, and carbonate replacement systems fit together in a mineral district like this?
Well, there is a continuum between all three of those deposits that you just mentioned. To make skarn and carbonate replacement, you need carbonate host rocks. So that's limestone or dolomite, the stuff we make that we make lime or cement out of. Those are reactive rocks and mineralization deposits by a reaction between fluids coming from the intrusion, which is the porphyry copper itself, and the wall rocks. It's the same reaction you get when you put vinegar into baking soda. It's a neutralization reaction. If you have the carbonate rocks, you can make skarn and CRD. If you don't, you'll make veins. So same process, slightly different environment. Butte happens to be placed in non-reactive rocks, so the big mineralization at Butte was in big veins, whereas in areas like Smart Creek and Philipsburg, there's a lot of limestone, so you have the potential for the skarn and CRD part of that continuum to develop.
Peter, from a geologist's perspective, what are the signs that an historic mining district may still have significant discoveries left to make?
Okay, well, the most important aspect of that question is significant discoveries left to make. There's no such thing as an ore deposit that's completely worked out. Lots of people go back into old mining areas and try to find a little bit more. The question is whether there's a significant amount more. And for that, we look for the features that we now recognize are hallmarks of large, long-lived systems. We now have geophysical techniques that allow us to determine where some of those types of mineralization, overlooked mineralization, might exist. And so we look for the signs that say this is a good place to look. Then you go, where might the old timers have overlooked something? And that's where you drill.
And did you see these signs and features up at Smart Creek, Peter?
Yes, absolutely. There's two main aspects of Smart Creek. One is the copper zone that people have been working on for a number of years, and they found some really good mineralization there. The other is the western side, the Sunrise area, where there is a lot of historic active gold and tungsten placer mining. And the source of those placers hasn't been found, but there's good reason to believe there may be a gold tungsten skarn upstream from that in that part of the Smart Creek project that I think is a very high potential target.
Well, Peter, thank you very much for sharing your insights into Smart Creek.
A pleasure.
That's Dr. Peter Megaw. He's an independent consulting geologist.